Welcome back to the Mom Files. I'm Hav,
And I'm Aaliyah.
and today we're talking about something that I think many of us have experienced at least some point in our life. And if you haven't, bless your soul. I wish I was you. But it's that we crave the look or looks that we're seeing on social media or looks that are trending. I'll say even off of social media, but what's the fashion trend, what's popular in your hometown or what's around you, the people that are in your life. And we just want to talk about how there can be a really serious pressure that happens when there's a gap between the inspiration of what we want our life to look like and the reality of it. Aaliyah, do you have anything to touch on that?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the biggest reason we wanted to chat about this is just like I definitely noticed this when there was the transition between the millennial gray or the sad beige baby that was so popular. And now we're kind of moving back to like adding color and maximalism and bringing back like our childhoods and stuff. And so for me, I think I've really struggled with it. And I'm sure a lot of other moms have too. So yeah,
I
I
think that's
agree.
a really great point, especially being in the stage that I'm in,
Hmm.
thinking about how when I was pregnant with Azzy, the beige baby, like neutral colors, maybe you do like a rainbow on the wall that's just like brown, nude, right? And
Yeah.
now that I'm pregnant again, looking at rooms, it's like obviously different gender and stuff, but like trucks and I don't know the gender. I'm just assuming different gender. But you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, look at these bright trucks. And so it really is like very relevant because at what point is it like what we actually want for our kids and our family and stuff? And at what point is it the what's popular and what's not? And how is it affecting our decisions?
Right.
So let's get into it, talk about we call it this trap and the way to reclaim our own aesthetic in today's world and where it's really easy to get caught up in these quick trends, especially with fast fashion. I feel like that's a big point with quick trends versus what you actually like and what will stick with you long term. So I'll kind of just jump into, I kind of, touched base on it before, but we're talking about social media a lot lately and how
Yeah.
it's affecting our lives and our aesthetic and what we think our children need and we need and what's the right thing to do. And like I said, like just decoration wise, right, there's the
Mhm.
beige baby like you said, and now it's a little bit more maximalist and like pops of color and stuff like that, and how social media affects that. And I think for me, when on social media all the time and I'm thinking about what other people are doing for their kids, it's kind of like holidays, right? Like we want our kids to get what the other kids are getting. And I fell out of the trap actually, thankfully to Tony, because he didn't want to do the beige thing for Azzy. And we actually put quite a bit of color in her room and made it more of like what our family just kind of like aesthetic and quirkiness is like, and she loves it. And honestly, for her personality, I couldn't imagine her being in a beige room with like
I agree.
she's like very much so that like I guess typical girly, like I want pink and I want colors and I want tutus and I want all the things. And if I fell into the trap that I was wanting to fall into of beige baby and we only do wood toys, and if you only do wood toys, I'm not crapping on it. I actually think
Oh,
it's
no.
really amazing, but it just didn't it gift wise and stuff, it didn't work for our family and it would have been way more stress than like what I gave into. But
Mhm.
I'm so happy that we have now because it works for her and it works for
Mhm.
our family and it works for the people around us and it's just less stress on me. But man, I felt like I was doing so much wrong by allowing all these colors and all these things. And it's not just with aesthetics, but yeah, I don't know. That's definitely something that I faced and I've noticed is different now. And I'm like, when did it matter? Why does it matter?
Yeah. I agree. I really struggled with it, and I think it did play a role when obviously, when you're getting the nursery ready, because you go on social media and you see people start their rooms from scratch. So, like, new dresser,
Mhm.
new crib, new everything, and at first you're like, "Oh, yeah," and then you start thinking about that, and you're like, even adding wallpaper and paint and I'm like, it adds up so quickly, and so it's just so easy to feel behind or like you can't afford those things when you're in,
Mhm.
and you feel bad when you don't. when you can't buy new. Like for me, I actually like we did buy a one new dresser, but we use like my dad's dresser that I use and that he
Yeah,
used and like things like that. And so, but when you do that, you're like, well, it doesn't feel very aesthetic. It doesn't match entirely with the room. But I'm like, that's not always a bad thing, but it can be so easy when you're on social media being like, oh, I'm not doing that. You know, it's not pretty or whatnot.
right.
But I think it's a reminder too, a lot of those posts you see, you know, they might be sponsored by that, you know, a company that could buy all of that,
Mhm.
or maybe they just have a bigger budget or whatnot. So
Or yeah, or there I
yeah.
mean, I know for us sorry to cut you off, but just
No,
on
you're
that
good.
topic, there's also the some families in some villages input a lot more help at for the first child, and I know that's my village was super helpful, and I think we had one thing that was, like, gifted to us that was a hand-me-down for Azzy as far as, like, big furniture goes, but we were gifted so much big furniture. But again, it wasn't necessarily the furniture that I wanted for the
Right.
aesthetic because what I wanted was I love Pottery Barn. We're just gonna be honest here. Where I wish I could be a Pottery Barn wife, mom, but no, like, you're right, and I think to also add to that just really quick is, like,
Yeah.
I never posted pictures of the stuff that didn't match. Like, I very purposefully posted pictures of things that fit within what was popular at that time.
Yeah.
Her room has so much more to it. I think I posted, like, a corner of it.
Right. That's a great
So it's
point.
definitely like
Yeah.
yeah, we're putting up what we want people to see, right?
Yes. I think that's an excellent point because it does kind of remind me and kind of leading us into like that real life versus styled. I'm like a lot of these people you forget like they might have in the photo could be really aesthetic and behind them could be a big pile of stuff that they just moved out of the photo. You know,
Mhm.
like or they shoved it in the closet so you can't see it. You know, like I'm sure we all have the one drawer that is just like a junk drawer. And so with that it you have to remember that we are still real homes. Like we have toys, we have laundry, we have delivery boxes and furniture and so it's like it can be easy to get caught up thinking that they don't have that as well, but we just might not realize that they're hiding those things.
Right. And even on that note, if we're not even just talking aesthetics of like, right, beige baby, all that stuff, whatever. I remember feeling so much pressure to keep up with the clean house and the
Mhm.
clean dishes and no laundry.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you probably heard it. And I know I heard it from you. It was like, I can't keep up. And I feel like my house is disgusting. And then people come over and you want to like, we see on social media, right? These mom influencers, whether this is what their house is actually looking like or not, their kitchen is clean and they clean every
Mhm.
night and they wake up and they put away the dishes and their laundry is clean and then I'm sitting here nap trapped and there's the dishes are in the sink and the laundry isn't done and then you just spiral thinking like okay, does that make me a bad mom because I can't keep up with the housework like I used to or like these other moms are doing when in reality are they keeping up with it? I don't know. Does that work for them? And they are keeping with it, I don't know, but that's 100% like real life versus styled life for the most part is like you have to adjust to what is best for you.
Mhm.
And for us, laying on the couch was more important with baby than
Right.
doing the laundry. But it was kind of a hard pill to swallow for me.
Yeah, I think you make an excellent point because we don't know what's going on. I'm like, they could have extra help and not just their family. I'm like, they could have hired help. They could
Mhm.
have, you know, again, they could have a village that's stepping in. I mean, maybe and like you said, we also have different seasons of life. Maybe they're full-time stay-at-home moms. Maybe they
Mhm.
have like a nanny. You know, who knows what their circumstances are. And so it is so easy when someone posts something to feel so guilty like, I've actually been trying really hard to make our house more not so much aesthetically pleasing, but just more I'm trying to make it functional way because I'm like, I don't understand how people are cleaning their whole house in like 30 minutes. Like, I'm like, I and they'll just like, oh, it's just a quick pickup. Like, once you get a routine. And I'm like, I've tried. I'm like, it takes me a minimum. of like 30 minutes a room, you know? And
Literally.
and I'm trying to make it easier because I do know the
Right.
less clutter you have or like when things have a home, it is easier, but I'm still like, and so I feel guilty a lot with it, especially with real life because Ty has work boots and there's hats. And it's just, I think sometimes when we see blogger homes, we forget like when I look at them, they don't even look like men. Do they have husbands that live
Right.
there? Like, are there other kids? Like, my house looks like there's
Don't
other
even get
family
me
members.
started if they have pets. If you have pets and you're able to
But it's true. I'm like, it's just, we forget because it can be so easy to get caught up in that there
so easy.
are more people. Because I at least have a husband with free will, children, pets. So I'm not the only one here. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's really hard to look at Pinterest and stuff and then look at all the like you said, the dishes,
Mhm.
the dirty windows, the
Right.
the things I still have on the to-do list. But like you said, I'm also this has really been a season where I'm like, okay, this is like where you slow down. This is teaching you some patience. This is teaching you like it's okay, like it will still be there. And I actually, even though it's been hard, it has actually been really, in a sense, healthy because I feel like I've been able to not feel so like I'm still overwhelmed, but I feel like I've been able to let more go more.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think for me, one thing that I ended up doing, which wasn't like, I won't even say was the healthiest for my sanity, but when Azzy was like 1, 2, I literally was like, your your house is gonna look like crap.
Yeah.
You're gonna look like crap. You want your house to be aesthetically pleasing. I love decorating. I wanted to be an interior designer at one point. Like I literally told myself, well, you can care about how your house looks and about decorating when she is like a teenager.
Right.
But then that goes into like, at what point do we have things for us?
Hmm.
And at what point, obviously, I don't want to, you know, dictate my life based on social media and trends. But however, if I love a trend and I want to decorate in that way or whatever, I do think that it is healthy to find a way to do it within your budget and within your lifestyle and within your means. And for everybody, that looks different. For me, we try our best to keep our kitchen clean. Obviously, it's where we're cooking, it's where our dining room table is, where we spend a lot of family time. So, 9 times out of 10, if I'm cleaning, it's the kitchen. The rest of our house is gonna look like crap. So, where are my decorations? Where are my plants? What is the room that people walk in and they sit down and they like are looking around? It's my kitchen. So my kitchen looks great. My kitchen looks amazing. I mean, like the dining room and stuff. It's where my plants are. It's where all of like the aesthetic things are. And for me, that's my kind of way of being like, okay, like I have my space, I have my freedom to like kind of dictate some control of what I want my aesthetic to look like, but also without fearing that my toddler is going to break my new glass ramekin or tear my plants apart when she's riding her scooter around the house. Because, yes, I do let my child ride her scooter around the house.
It's funny you brought up the kitchen because, or like where that's the cleanest space,
Mm.
because that is 100% something that I regularly deal with. I
Mhm.
am always like, okay, this week I'll get to this room. But by the time I'm thinking about that, I look at like, for example, the living room and the kitchen and I'm like, ooh, I really need to do that. And then I just do that over and over again. And it feels like those rooms are always being cleaned and then other rooms are constantly being neglected. And so it's just
Yeah.
funny you said that because it is really hard when it's just the main rooms do get definitely more attention. But I also think it's hard because I always tell my, like, for example, I'll clean the bathroom and I'm like, oh, it's good for a minute. Well, that minute happens
Mhm.
really fast. And I'm all of a sudden, I'm like, how is it dirty again
So
already? So that's also the thing I really struggle with is this like cycle that I just really cannot keep up with. And then when I go on social media, I'm always like, how are people able to constantly keep up with this. And like I said,
right.
I've been trying new things to get better, but yeah, I can feel really guilty, especially as a mom, even though we are working from home because I'm home. I feel extra guilty because
Yeah.
I'm like, feel like I should be able to keep up with it and stay on top of it. And so when I'm not, yeah, it just adds a whole nother layer
Yeah. Right
to it.
there with you. I mean, and I've tried, said, like, trying to clean a different room a different day. So, like, We do laundry on the weekends and then we clean, like, do little cleans of the kitchen every day so that it stays nice. But like the bedroom, don't walk down my hall. If you the bedrooms are not kept up. That's just like the living room and the kitchen. And I clean we Azzy's room the most.
I cleaned
But
Dash's
our
room.
room, like, yeah, like I sleep in here and then I leave. Like I
I know, it's like, "Shut the door, no one go in there, it's fine."
literally, and it's like the epitome of like a parent's room with laundry all over and whatever, but shut the door. And but it's no matter how often I clean a room or the toys get thrown out or the laundry needs to get done again. I mean, husband who works and goes to the gym and then comes home and changes and gets comfortable and then puts on pajamas, like 4 sets of clothes for a day. Like laundry adds up really quick, let alone the toddler and the me. And I know for you, these are like tame with your blue collar husband who comes
No,
home in grime.
no, it was just funny when you say that because I constantly am like, "How do we have so much laundry for 3 people?" Like,
I'm like, I washed
I
this like 3 days ago.
I get so behind so fast, and I literally told Ty this morning, "I'm not getting behind this time. You just wait. I'll be behind."
Just wait.
Just
We tried doing where he would come home and put his laundry in the laundry machine so that we could wash it every other day.
Oh, yeah.
It worked for like 2 weeks. We have gotten into this really bad rut of like we do the laundry on the weekends, but it's like 7 loads of laundry. We did it last weekend, right? On Monday, I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna finish folding the clothes." I kid you not, I text Tony 30 minutes later, "Look, I found 2 more loads of laundry to do." Where is it coming from?
Especially and you might not have this issue as much, but, like, for me, especially having a two-story house, I'll leave a lot of clothes, like, upstairs in the living room or whatnot, and so I'll finish the laundry and I'll come upstairs and I'm like, "Fuck, it's a whole 'nother." So I get that. It's just funny because it blows my mind where it all comes from. So,
Well, and that's something to remind ourselves too. We
yeah,
are privileged and, like, grateful for the homes that we have. I have, I have a full-size Rambler, and you have a two-story home.
right.
Sometimes these people with these really great clean houses, they have, like, they have the bedroom and they have, like, 2 rooms, and they live in an apartment. Um, and it would be easier, I think, to keep up with an apartment where I mean, from experience.
Mhm.
I remember every weekend I would clean the house the whole apartment for, like, 2 hours and be spick and span, obviously no toddler, but now I'm like, I can't even clean my room in 2 hours.
And I think that is a good point, is there are some homes that are bigger than others, and people have different circumstances, like maybe they have less stuff, maybe they have more stuff, like, maybe they have toddlers, like you said, which adds a whole 'nother layer. Because I know my toddler is making a mess as I'm cleaning the living room. Like, I have
Yeah.
to do it in sections so that I can vacuum the sections before he pulls the toys out again, and so I think that's also a reminder that, like, again, real life, I like to think that the toys will always stay put in their nice little cubbies, and it'll just be, like, a nice aesthetic little play area, but that is very not the case.
Let me know when you figure that one out. I'd
Yeah.
love for it to work.
Yeah, and if you're someone who's figured it out, let us know because
Please.
we'd also like to chat with you.
I will say the answer for Hob is not waking up 2 hours before my kid.
Nope. I will say if I do wake up before, I can tell you right now, it's not gonna be me doing that. Like, usually it's me scrolling with no one touching me, and I can laugh
Well,
and,
yeah,
like
that's the other thing is, like, right now, I prioritize laying in bed and watching Netflix or reading my book. I really do. And is that a personal problem?
Yes.
Absolutely. Am I gonna keep complaining that my house is never clean? Yes. Am I gonna run myself ragged to clean it? Probably 1 week out of every month, and then I'm gonna be like, "Not worth it. I'm gonna
Yep.
go watch Netflix."
And my favorite is always I'll finish, and then I'm like, "Oh, that wasn't so bad, I won't wait that long again," and then the cycle continues.
It's so bad for me right now being pregnant with I'm like, I couldn't
Well,
care
and
less,
I
so
will say we're also heading into the hibernation season, which I
yeah.
always say plays a big role because I actually do feel a huge drop in my motivation and things like that. It's still up because we're in like the fallish winter, but I'm like deep winter. I'm like, you ain't catching me, That's just yeah, it's interesting. So I mean, it's definitely pregnancy, but I also like to blame it on the weather. We're like,
Well, no, it is. Especially, I mean, right now, like with storm season and stuff, the past it is a movie day. We're
yeah,
laying on the couch watching some TV. Oh
which
wait, can't let my 3-year-old watch TV all day or she turns into a tyrant.
which if you want to talk more about screen time, we did that in the last episode. If you want to hear more about that, yeah, listen back. I'll link it. We'll link it below. Just just a side note. But with that, I think that kind of leads us into tips and ways that you can kind of either, change your mindset or maybe there's some quick wins because it can be really hard when you're constantly surrounded by this. That's where the social media comes in play. Like we've said, social media isn't bad, but if you are someone who's on it a lot or even watching TV or seeing magazines, I'm like aesthetics and unrealistic stuff like that is constantly in our faces. And so it can be really
Yeah.
hard to shift mindsets and like change things. And so, yeah, I think this is a good time to kind of dive into, tips for that. And so one thing I would I would recommend, at least when it comes to like changing your mindset, and this is something that I definitely started doing, is sitting and thinking when it comes to trends or expensive things, like, do you actually love this trend? Or are you just loving it because everyone else is? Like, I know there are definitely times where I notice I just start seeing it more and more. And so I'm like, oh, okay, I like that. But then there's other times where I'm like, okay, I do really like, I do enjoy this trend and I maybe you want to get something from it, but maybe consider getting one or two things so that when the trend
Mhm.
changes again, you won't feel guilty that you switched like an entire room. So that's definitely something I've done more because there are a lot of trends I can get behind, but it can be hard when they're changing monthly or, seasonally.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I love a trend.
Yeah,
I love it. Absolutely. It can just be really difficult to not be able to partake in the trend and then feel crappy about it.
for
I think
sure.
on that note, I would add for social media, I'm not even gonna say don't look at social media. Something that has really helped me is noticing what content creators make not make me they're not doing it to me, right? But when I'm looking at certain content creators, do I feel bad about myself? Do I feel like or do I feel like,
Right.
oh, like there's something that I can take from this and whatnot? So I have honestly pretty recently started making sure that I'm only following people who seemingly are like-minded with me with how they run their day with their kids and stuff or whatnot. Like, I love a good day in the life, what I ate and what I did with my kids. Also taking into perspective, some of these people that I do follow are able to like have their husband at home for part of the time or have a nanny for part of the time. Don't get me started on the night nurses. Anyways, but I do try to follow people who like show like real life. Like they show the mess. Like
Mhm.
quick Mama Shocks. She will show her house in disarray. She's very aesthetically pleasing. Her house is gorgeous and her kids are gorgeous, but like she also shows like the this sucked and my kid has a snotty nose and I'm not doing anything today type of thing. Can I do everything that she does? No, but it's a little bit easier for me to put into perspective like she worked her way up to this and stuff and like that is real life for her. It's not just a 30-second clip of her perfectly cleaned house all the time.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you brought that up because I totally agree. And someone else that you've put me on, and I think we've talked about before that does this also is Carrie Locker, which if
Mhm.
you don't follow her and you will want tips on breastfeeding or just mom life, I highly recommend it. Hoff put her on or put me onto her when I had just found out I was pregnant and we have loved her ever since. And by the way, this is super side note, but we also do have an affiliate link. So when she does a merch drop, if you are looking for merch, I'll put the link down below so you can check it out. That's super
She
side
just
note,
did
but
one.
she does.
She might be
She
sold out,
did.
but she just did
And she has
and she
really
does
cute
really
stuff.
cute, comfy, like yeah, it's very she's the messy mom club.
Yes.
We love her. Since we're
Yes.
plugging one more is Hey Sleepy Baby. She talks a lot about sleep, but she also does kind of like Carrie Locker, where like this is real life. This is what I do for what works for me per baby, because
Yeah,
not all kids are the same.
I agree. And so we will link all of them in the show description just in case you want to check them out. But sorry, you can go ahead if you're gonna.
Oh,
say
no,
something.
I was just saying, like, for social media, but otherwise, I mean, I think a lot of it is, like, being introspective of what you want for your house and for your family and for your life and what you can afford. I know we talked about, like, the new baby rooms and doing nurseries. There's totally nothing wrong with DIY. If you get a hand-me-down crib and you wanna change the color of it, that is amazing. I wanted a mural on Azzy's wall, so I got a well, we had a projector, but I projected it on the wall and I painted it. It's, like, totally okay to have things be personalized and not cost thousands of dollars.
Yes. And I love that you brought that up because I think it's so true. Like, consider what you love, not what others love. Like, your home is, excuse me, your
That's
home
okay.
is yours. So you should make it cozy and fitting to you and your family, not everyone else. Like, I always say, like, I know, someone might walk in and be like, oh, I don't really love that or something. Like, I know it. But then I'm always reminded, I'm like, you don't have to live here. You look at it maybe once a year, which, might sound rude, but I'm like, you're the one in your space. So really think about that. Like, embrace your family and your personality. So I'm glad you brought that up because yeah, it can be easy to get caught up in stuff. And I think if you do get caught up, consider mixing it into inspiration and trends with reality.
Yeah.
Like Hobbs said, DIY something. Like I see a ton of stuff. Like maybe you see a Pottery Barn mirror. I know I've seen that. I think it was trending for the holidays with the ghost. I don't know if it was Pottery Barn, but anyway, make it at home. It might not be exactly the same, but I'm like, you can do a lot of the things that you love within your budget, your season, and your lifestyle. So I definitely think that's a
Yeah.
great thing to that. I'm glad you mentioned that just because.
Yeah. Well, and another thing that is only really possible at the stage of life that I am with my toddler, if you can get your kid involved, get them involved. We're at a point now where Azzy understands that decorations are for your eyes only, and if she's gonna touch them, we take the decorations away. She loves decorations, so she listens. But I'm able to involve her in like Christmas decorations or decorating her room or getting like nicer things that she knows like if we want to keep it, we don't touch it. But she also can help me clean now. So if you want to sit and do dishes for 30 minutes and wash the same cup while I clean the kitchen, sweep, and mop, beautiful. Probably a little bit more difficult for you at Dash's age, but like remember every stage of life is different and what's hard right now might get easier and it
Mhm.
might get harder for me again and not every day is perfect. Yeah, just adjust for your family and if you can involve the kids, they let Azzy let she has to stay home so that she could clean with me.
No,
Did
it's
she
true.
clean the whole time? No, but
But she was there and she was a part of it. And
yeah,
and those are the memories that will be important in what you'll remember. That is the parts of life. Like we keep saying, I think we all keep thinking, at least for me, I keep thinking life is like those big moments, but like we've always talked about, I'm like, once you really sit back and you start to age, you really realize those mundane everyday tasks are what makes up all
yeah.
those moments. And so I think it's a good point. It's like the goal is comfort, functional, like within your lifestyle, like, yeah, not a curated performance. It can be really hard. So yeah, I love that point just because include your kids. Yeah. They're they're
Yeah.
there.
And if you're too overwhelmed or overstimulated, not include them, that's okay too. We we've been there. I try to include Ozzy as much as I can, but there are some days where I just can't do it, and that's okay too.
Mhm.
But it can just be a nice addition and also teaches like great skills of like respecting people's boundaries and things.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be able to decorate my room soon. I'm trying to teach her about boundaries in other people's rooms. Like, you don't get to jump on my pillow with your dirty feet. Go do it in your room, you know?
Yeah, go grocery fill. No, that's so funny.
Just, I guess, a couple of like just quick little
Yeah.
tips and wins of things that you can do, the things that I do when I'm feeling in a rut aesthetically, or like I want to be following a trend and I can't financially or physically or whatever, is just making small adjustments. Like I mentioned, my
Yes.
kitchen is my space that I'm able to keep clean and that I'm able to keep Azzy from 100% being a toddler and her toys are still in there all the time. But do the little things, right? So, like, if going to Home Goods and buying a new throw and a new vase or whatever, giving yourself like a $40 budget, that might be the difference of coming home and just feeling like you did something for yourself and is
Mhm.
bringing something new into the space. And I know, like, you can budget wise, like maybe you give yourself $20 a month to go
Mhm,
buy something aesthetic, and 1 month you don't spend it, and the next month you spend 40, things like that. Like Aaliyah said, just, like, look into your life and what you can adjust and make happen, and sometimes the small little wins are really worth it to, like, give mama a piece of joy. So, also consider doing something like that if budget and lifestyle is a big, for lack of a better word, like, hardship or whatever for you when you're trying to make your home you.
mhm. I agree. I think that's a great point is embrace the slow decorating. Like if you need to, like maybe you do want to change the theme of your room. Maybe like Hoff said, you do $20 a month and you just slowly start gathering things. Another thing, and we've talked about before, but definitely remember thrifting, yard sales, and Facebook Marketplace are definitely good places to get and especially nice expensive things. Yeah, I think that's an excellent point. And just like Hoff said, start in one small space, do mini upgrades, you can work with what you got and like mix it in when you can. It can be really hard. So, yeah, I think that's an excellent point with that.
And I've heard, people doing, I think we might have talked about it and talking about holiday decorations and stuff, but doing, like, decoration swaps. If you have
Yeah.
a friend that, like, loves something that you have and you love something that maybe for a few months you swap so that you can have a change of scenery. I know for me, that's usually what I want. It's just, like, a change of scenery,
Mhm.
just, like, something a little different.
Yeah, and it's something I'm working on too with just a change of scenery. Sometimes, maybe there's an area that's just a little like maybe there's cords that are sticking out, or maybe there's an area that you can't get control of the toys. Maybe adding a basket for the toys or like finding a box to hide the cords. Just little things like that can also really upscale a space within your
Yeah, or
means. And
rearranging furniture. I've been
yeah,
doing that since I was in junior high. Didn't redo
yeah.
my room, made it feel like a whole, I just did that with the living room. I was like, "I'm so sick of this space, and how can I change it?" And we rearranged the furniture, and it feels like a whole new room.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that because I was just telling Ty since we've moved into this house, it's crazy how many different versions of the living room I think we've already had in 4 years. Like I almost wish I had taken a photo because I'm like, I swear, and it's not just like buying new things, just how I've rearranged the
Mhm.
furniture or like switch things up. And so yeah, that definitely can make a huge difference.
Oh, yeah. We're about to do it again because we don't know where we're putting our Christmas trees.
So I get it. Yeah, our Christmas tree's always in a different spot.
Yeah. So, essentially, what we want you guys to take away from this is, as always, do what's best for you and your family, what fits within your means and your abilities. And just remember that what we see every day is not necessarily what people are doing. So keep in mind that it doesn't make you a bad mom or a bad wife or a bad person or whatnot. Social media makes it really hard to get your head out of the space of trends. Like I said at the beginning, there's always been trends, there's always fashion things. It used to be a little bit easier to pick your kind of style and stick with it, at least for me, but with so much input, it can be difficult. So just give yourself grace. And if you find that you don't want to give yourself grace and you want to make some changes, then just do what you can with what you have and what you are able to, and be gentle.
Yeah. I think that is an excellent point. And I think just to add that I think it shows there is this myth that a perfect space doesn't always equal a perfect life, especially when you see there is a lot of people with lots of money and stuff. And that doesn't mean they're perfectly happy and everything like that. So it's just a reminder your home doesn't need to look Pinterest worthy to be worthy. Like Hoff said, I do think it can be really hard to stay up on the trends, especially now with every new season. And it feels like there's always a new reason to change your house and add things. And so, yeah, it's just a reminder that it is for your family and not the internet. And so I do sometimes think that that gets lost. And so buy and decorate for how you enjoy. And like we said, if that includes trends, that's okay. So don't get too caught up in it, comparisons and stuff, because like I said, in all honesty, it's about your family. Yeah. And not
Mhm.
everybody else.
Which can be difficult.
100%, especially
We're
when
over here preaching about it, but I know we both love a good trend. So,
we do. Yeah.
yeah,
100%. Like that gingham, the checkered, that checkered. I'm real into the checker. Yeah.
I do
I
love
know
a
it's a
checker.
trend, but I can hop on that trend.
Oh yeah. I'm really into like I did Azzy's room. This is last year I did Azzy's Christmas so like pink.
Yeah.
She's the only room that got new decorations and we went to Michael's and spent like $20. The cutest monochromatic pink. Like
Cute.
I'm obsessed and I want to do it to my whole house.
Which is so funny. That does not sound like something you would say.
Mine maybe not pink everywhere. I am actually getting into pink. Have a girly girl. I don't know. It'll do.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we hope that you guys were able to take something away from this. And if, like we said, if you have any tips to share for cleaning or just ways to keep your house kind of changing for aesthetic in ways that might make mom or family feel good about it, please, please, please share with us. We would love to hear any tips and tricks. Even if it is waking up early, I'm just letting you know I'm not going to do it. But yeah, thank you so much. And stay tuned. The next episode that we're going to cover is going to be talking about holiday burnout. So come and join us and we'll hopefully get through the holiday season together.
Yes. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.